Hi everyone. Welcome to Practice English Through Story. Do you want to improve your English effortlessly? Today, we're learning English through stories. Listening to stories helps you understand new words, improve pronunciation, and think in English. So, stay tuned, listen carefully, and let's dive into today's story. The Blind Man's Lantern. In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and a winding river, there lived an old blind man named Elias. Despite his inability to see, he was known throughout the village for his wisdom and kindness. Elias had lived in the village for many years, and while his world was shrouded in darkness, his heart was filled with light. He spent his days listening to the stories of travelers, offering guidance to the young, and sharing laughter with the elders. He could recognize people by their voices, feel the shift in the air when the seasons changed, and knew the village streets by heart, as though he could see them with his soul rather than his eyes. One peculiar habit Elias had puzzled the villagers for years. Every night, as darkness spread over the land, he would take his lantern and walk through the village streets. He held it high, its soft glow cutting through the darkness. People would watch in confusion, some whispering amongst themselves. "Why does a blind man carry a lantern? He cannot see the light," they murmured. Some found it amusing, while others dismissed it as the eccentricity of an old man. One evening, a curious traveler passing through the village saw Elias walking with his lantern. Unable to contain his curiosity, he approached Elias and asked, "Sir, forgive my boldness, but why do you, who cannot see, carry a lantern at night?" Elias smiled warmly, his old face creasing with the wisdom of years. "My dear traveler," he replied, "this lantern is not for me. I do not carry it to light my way, for darkness and light make no difference to me. I carry this lantern so that others may not stumble upon me. The world does not see through my eyes, but I can still ease its burdens." The traveler was struck by the profound simplicity of Elias's words. He realized that kindness is not always about personal gain, but about making the world a better place for others. That night, he shared Elias's wisdom with others at the village inn, and soon, the entire village came to appreciate the lesson hidden in the blind man's lantern. Elias continued his nightly walks, no longer met with puzzled looks, but with silent respect. The villagers began to see their own lives in a new light. Some began to help others without expecting anything in return, inspired by the selflessness of the blind man. The blacksmith started offering small repairs for those who could not afford to pay. The baker began setting aside loaves for the hungry, and children were taught that acts of kindness, however small, could ripple through the world in ways they might never see. One particularly stormy night, a group of travelers lost their way near the village. The rain fell heavily, and the wind howled through the trees, making it difficult to see even a few steps ahead. As they stumbled forward, unsure where to turn, a faint glow appeared in the distance. It was Elias, standing at the edge of the village, with his lantern raised high. Guided by his light, the travelers made their way to safety. When they reached him, shivering and wet, they realized with astonishment that the man who had guided them could not even see them. One of the travelers, deeply moved, knelt before Elias and said, "We would have been lost in the storm if not for your lantern. But you do not even know what darkness looks like. Why did you come out on such a treacherous night?" Elias chuckled softly. "Darkness may be unknown to me, but I know what it means to be lost. And if my light can help another find their way, then my blindness has no hold on me." The story of Elias and his lantern spread beyond the village, reaching towns and cities far and wide. People spoke of the blind man who carried light not for himself, but for those around him. His simple yet profound act of kindness became a lesson in selflessness, reminding all who heard it that true generosity lies not in what we gain, but in what we give. Years passed, and Elias grew older, his steps slower, but his spirit unwavering. Even when his hands trembled, he continued to carry his lantern. One evening, the village gathered for a festival, and as the celebrations carried on, Elias sat quietly on the steps of his small home. A young boy no older than 10 approached him with a tiny lantern of his own. "Master Elias," the boy said hesitantly, "may I walk with you tonight? I have brought my own lantern." Elias smiled, his heart swelling with warmth. He reached out, finding the boy's small hand, and together they set off into the night. As they walked, others joined them, carrying lanterns of their own. Soon, the entire village was illuminated, a sea of golden light in the dark. What had once been the simple act of a blind man had become a tradition of kindness, passed from one generation to the next. On his final evening, Elias sat at the edge of the village, his lantern resting beside him. The sky was painted in hues of deep blue and orange as the sun set for the last time in his long life. Villagers gathered around him, their lanterns flickering like stars. With his final breaths, Elias whispered, "Let the light always guide you, not just through the dark streets, but through the dark moments of life." As his light faded, the villagers carried his legacy forward. Every year on the anniversary of his passing, they lit lanterns and walked through the village, reminding themselves that even in darkness, kindness could shine brighter than the brightest flame. And so, the blind man's lantern continued to glow, not just in the village, but in the hearts of all who heard his story. That was today's story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Now I have a challenge for you. Comment below your favorite new word from today's story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends who want to improve their English. See you in the next lesson. Keep practicing and keep learning. Bye for now.